Does not get any easier for the Hoosiers. Here's Joe Lee, number 7 in the nation, starting aggressive against Nick South. And early, I was going to say a
There it is.
takedown. There it is.
There
There's
it
those
is.
2 points for Joe Lee.
And how many
Penn
times have we
State.
seen these Penn State guys go right after those takedowns? I think that's the 4th time already that we've seen a Penn State takedown in the first 20 seconds of the first period. They just go immediately after those legs, and it looks like Indiana just isn't ready off the jump to defend. Just Penn State has been so much quicker off the get-go, and that's led to a lot of these Indiana guys in every single matchup, trailing right out of the gate. The only time it didn't happen was at 149 when Verclaren's takedown attempt was stymied at the very start, and then Rooks turned that into a win. So, if Indiana wants to win, they have got to stop allowing these really early takedowns to just kind of sap their spirit and mark up some early riding time for Penn State.
And the other thing that, as you mentioned, is Penn State is able to do off of that early takedown is get some early riding time and really use those heavy hips, as we've been mentioning all day, to push the Hoosier wrestlers down into the mat and get them off their game. Penn State, arguably the better conditioned team, they're very happy to be sitting on top in general. Joe Lee with an early 2-1 lead against South. Nick South, a formidable opponent for Lee. South, a sophomore from North Vernon, Indiana. Part of one of a couple top 25 recruiting classes for head coach Angel Escobedo. A lot of young guys, first years and sophomores for the Hoosiers. A lot of talented wrestling in the state of Indiana. Angel Escobedo, the Hoosier legend, 4-time All-American, trying to get them to stay home. No, don't go to Pennsylvania. Don't go to Ohio. Don't go to Minnesota. Don't go to Iowa. Never go to Iowa. Stay right here in Indiana. Yeah. That's the pitch for Angel Escobedo.
And this is the guy you wanted to get.
Indiana.
If you're Escobedo, this is the guy you wanted to get. This is a 2-time Indiana State champion in Nick South. Both 2018 and 2019 coming in. Indiana State champion, finished high school with an 81-11 record. This is a guy who was just dominant in high school wrestling. And last year, officially a redshirt, wrestled unattached, but did manage to get to an 18-5 record unattached, which is really impressive. So, it's a big step from wrestling unattached to going up against the number 7 wrestler in the country at your weight class. But if anybody can do it, a guy with the pedigree of South seems like a good candidate.
Joe Lee went 14-2 last season. And Nick South, 18-5, as you mentioned. Both wrestlers close to being off the mat. Lee trying to keep that right foot in and keep that hold. He was not able to do it. Nick South was with an impressive season last year, unattached, with 18-5, as you mentioned, 3 extra point victories. Came in 2nd place at the Michigan State Open, 2nd place at the Ohio Open, and took 1st place in the Greyhound Open. Unfortunately for these young wrestlers, no open tournaments this season. That's why we have all these extra matches. If you hear any errant whistles from Welsh Ryan Arena, perhaps it's because of the extra matches going off to the side. In this dual meet, this is the one, of course, we'll be focusing on. I shouldn't say that these are the ones that count, but for the record,
you know what? They literally are the ones that count for the teams. So that's the thing about wrestling unattached. I was about to say, Jack, do the extra point victories still count as quote unquote extra point victories as a nice escape from Lee there? Because who are they giving the extra points to exactly? It's an interesting sort of dilemma to think about. I'm sure more scholarly wrestling fans than us have discussed this very question before. Just some food for thought as we get to the middle here of this duel.
Lee taking Nick South down. The 2 points are up, so 2 points for Lee, 5-1 the score.
And South has done a great job once he's been taken down, of working around and not letting Lee take his back or get really anywhere near fall points. But here, Lee has been a little bit more aggressive in controlling those shoulders and not letting South turn himself over. He's got that locked arm in there, and he's been able to work that, but. And now stacking up some riding time. I think we'll see it cross that 45-second mark and pop onto our screen soon as they reset after the stalemate.
So Lee on top here. That the last 20 or so seconds, you just saw South kind of looking into the mat, and you have to credit the strength, both the upper body and the lower body strength of Joe Lee for really pushing him into it. And now looking to get that riding time point, at least starting to get that riding time point. And he won't be able to get it yet. Stuck at 57 seconds, an escape for Nick South.
And now South really has to buckle down. Another takedown from Lee essentially ends this one. He's got to make something happen, and nearly was able to there, but a great job by Lee of keeping control of the torso as South attempted to flip him there.
Possible fireman's carry, it looked like, for Lee, and both these wrestlers kind of stuck in neutral.
Well, that's a lot of pressure on the shoulder of South right there, the way Lee was working on that right shoulder. You see it again, the way he has that arm hooked over the top. And you can see, I think South is feeling it. You see how slow he's getting up? He's kind of
he absolutely is.
There was a ton of pressure on that shoulder in that hold. He's back up and at it, but that's tough to work out of.
That's going to do it for the second period. Solid performance for both guys. Joe Lee, the number 7 wrestler in the country, at 165 against Nick South. Currently not ranked, but looking to jump into those rankings. An upset victory over Joe Lee would certainly put him in contention. But what Joe Lee has been able to do so well is keep that riding time high. It's not as high as it's been for some of these other Penn State wrestlers because South has done a solid job on bottom. But if Lee can get the riding time up and eventually grab that bonus point, should be an easy decision win for the Nittany Lions. There's a pause here. I'm not exactly sure what they're pausing for, as Joe
whatever
will
it is,
start
it's
this
a bonus.
one on top.
It's a bonus for South. We just saw how much he was feeling it after the second period. He wants as much time.
It absolutely is.
Yeah.
And we're hearing it's that the referees are just looking at riding time to make absolutely certain.
Whenever it's close to a minute.
57. Exactly.
You always want to see. And South was trying to get that escape before he gets to a minute. And look at Lee right back to work on that right side. That's just such veteran wrestling, Jack, is to know where you've gone after opponent in both the first 2 periods and say, you know what, I'm going to go right back after that part, that body part, and see if I can't work on it a little bit more, see if I can't weaken it a little bit more. Just a canny little veteran move to try to see what you can make happen just by weakening one part of your opponent's structure.
So it's a 2-point match officially, an unofficial 3-point match. Now make it a little more. Joe Lee, the fantastic takedown, making it 7-3, unofficially 8-3 if you add in that riding time.
But don't count your chickens. Don't count your chickens.
Absolutely not.
And Nick Lee certainly, Joe Lee certainly won't. Pardon me, Joe. But Jack, it's so tough for South. He coming into the third period, knowing I have got to make something happen here. I've got to get out, and then I've got to make something happen. And as soon as he gets out and makes that escape, Joe Lee is the aggressor immediately. And let's see if it happens again here. Well, this time South was going for it. So the first time we saw that escape, when South really needed to turn that momentum into something, it was Lee who was going right back to work and eventually securing the takedown. And here South has done a great job of getting some action going as well to sort of counter that action from Lee. I do think we saw a stall call there. Just a warning at this point.
A warning possibly for Lee kind of stepping off the mat. Just a
warning,
warning, as you said.
The circle, but yeah, just a warning, yeah. And the stall point won't affect it, even if it does come, given that the riding time point is virtually secured at this point.
Joe Lee, a 25-6 career wrestler, wrestled unattached last season, had a really solid year. Wrestled in the Southern Scuffle at the University of Tennessee at Chattanooga, where he went 5-2, including 2 wins against top 25 opponents. That plus the pedigree of Lee at Penn State, vaulting in up into the top 10, even as a redshirt first year at 165. Nick South looking to go down and kind of push Lee over, but Lee's got the advantage here, working on that left knee. That will do it. Joe Lee,
workmanlike
decision victory. Workmanlike, exactly, Noah Kaufman. You hear that a lot with Penn State. A workmanlike win from Joe Lee. Nick South fought valiantly, gave Joe Lee a strong effort.